welcome back to Mega Man 3 from the Wily Wars. Next up is Gemini Man, who I kind of like his design as a robot master, but this is easily my least favourite stage in the game. So that's what we're going right into it. I really dislike this stage. And my reasoning for that is because it's just so slow to kind of go through. It feels like a complete dreck. Because this opening section here, you can already see there's just enemies throwing things at us over bottomless pit jumps, that sort of thing. That's fine-ish, you know, but once we start falling down, it finds a lot of this is just standing still, shooting stuff, waiting for things to happen. And that's not what I want from a Mega Man game, really. I guess at least it is just one stage that's a bit shit, but I'd rather not do this level if I could avoid it. Now, see the flames here are blue. If I recall correctly, they change when we come back to this stage later on in the game. But now we're going to see Proto Man again after we hear that familiar whistle. What I'd like is how, when they updated the visuals for this port of the game, they remade Mega Man's sprite, and with Mega Man's new sprite he looks a bit taller. They didn't make Proto Man taller, so now it just looks like Mega Man is towering over Proto Man a lot of the time. Which I think is kind of humorous, especially given Mega Man's supposed to be like the younger brother of the two. But this, what we're seeing right here, this is a significant portion of this game. Just breaking these kind of egg type things, killing the tadpole inside, just waiting. And that's not my idea of a fun level, if you can't tell from my bitching. And it's really awkward how sometimes you can accidentally break ones you didn't mean to break, so now you've got nothing to stand on, so you've got to break even more just so you can get a good step in. This level in itself is another one that I think looks worse on this game than it did on the NES Mega Man 3. And that again, same as the problem I had with one of the Wily stages in Mega Man 2, in that the blue really doesn't look good at all. It looks too harsh and there's too much of it. I can't remember exactly how this level looked off the top of my head, but I remember it being kind of dimmer with the colours, with more emphasis put on the kind of glowing things like you see embedded in the rocks there. There was more of that going on. And I remember it looking a lot better and less harsh on the eyes than this particular take of it does. So, yeah. Oh yeah, something I haven't talked about yet that we're making use of here. This is Rush, this dog here. He is basically a robot that kind of covers for the items that you add in Mega Man 2. So like Rush Coil's a new thing, it's like a spring that you can use to jump on, but Rush Jet is an enhanced version of item 2 from Mega Man 2. And Rush Jet is the best in this game that he will ever be, because in this game you get full control of the different directional movements that he goes in, whereas in later games, I guess they decided they had to nerf him because of how much you can kind of cheese through the game here, but he can only like move forward, up and down. He can't kind of turn around and have full control, which is kind of a shame, but I know why they did it, because there are a lot of sections here that you can just skip entire platforming sections by flying over them. There's something I'm noticing from watching back this footage that I really wish there was some kind of easy weapon change button, because I keep seeing me stop, go into the menu, pick a different weapon, use the weapon for this one thing that I needed it for, then do something else. Like, you know, it gets a little bit slow, I guess is the word, really. But, you know. I like this particular section. What we saw me doing a minute ago was using the Rush Marine adapter, but there's also a kind of cool little platforming section here, which, again, I'm not too keen on the enemies flying in, but I like these sections where it looks like it's a precise jump, but it's easier than you think it is. And that's what's going on here, because one thing I can say for Mega Man that I really like in general is I like Mega Man's jump, particularly like from 3 onwards, because it's very precise. Whereas games like, say, Sonic, it's a little bit slippery. Mega Man, when he lands, he lands. At least from, I'd say, about 3 onwards, because in Mega Man 1 he's got a little bit of a slide as he lands, but here he just lands still for the most part, and that I like that because it makes platforming sections a lot more comfortable. Yeah, Gemini Man is weak to the Search Snake, and it might seem like a kind of weird order that I'm going in here, but whereas Mega Man, well, other Mega Man games mostly have a kind of specific chain that you go in. That, granted, you can start anywhere in the chain, but once you've started, you tend to follow the same order. There's kind of 2 little chains going on, like 2 little circle chains going on that you can mix and match a bit. And I think that's a kind of interesting way to approach the weaknesses, really. Because it's Snake Man, Gemini Man, and I forget who else, but they have this kind of little portion off to the side of the main sequence you can go in. And it just means that you can go in different orders depending on what other things you want to get, because if I recall correctly, in the other playthrough, when I played Gemini Man's stage, I didn't actually have the Rush Marine. So I've gone in a different order here, slightly. And flexibility like that in games that don't leave things too open is something that I really appreciate. Anyway, it's time to find the Needle Man in the haystack. Hey? Oh look, we have a hedgehog that rolls into a ball. What might that possibly remind me of? Now, one thing, and I'm not going to dwell too much on this right now, but if we have a look, this particular stage, as we're playing it now, is set during the daytime. When we come back here for another portion of the game later on, it will have changed to nighttime, and that's something that kind of is a cool little touch. I kind of like day and nights type systems, as long as they're implemented well. And by that I mean the night stages actually have a proper art style that accommodates the fact that it's set at night. Because it's too easy for things to just kind of change the lighting or whatever and it ends up being too dark. But if the level's designed around the fact that it's night time and there's art that accommodates that, then that looks good. And even like for everything I could say about the Werehog in Unleashed, at least the stages look really pretty despite being set at night, because they've got the right kind of tone to everything there. It's not just changing the colour box to a darker tone. But I'm getting distracted already. Needleman stage, there's not really too much to say about it. Like, these things that pop down from the ceiling are annoying. I wish there was some kind of warning about where they're going to come from. Like, say that little grey bit at the top. If that was always there stuck at the ceiling, then you would see that and you would think, okay, something's going differently here. And you'd just kind of approach with caution, whereas now they have to hit you before you know they're there. It's something that I'm not too keen on. And I'm going to take the longest way possible of attacking this guy. Because I could just rush jet over and get that E-Tank, but I'm playing it safe. Oh wait, no, I don't have the rush jet. Yeah, I'm getting confused. I could rush coil over there and get it, but no, I am a little bit cautious with certain sections. For the most part, when I'm playing Mega Man, I will just ram through everything. But sometimes I think, no, I don't want to get hit. More often than not, that's in sections where it wouldn't be necessarily damaging that's the problem. It's more that it would be annoying, because getting knocked mid-jump on a rush call, that's annoying. I'm not sure what them things are called. I think they're a variant of the Joe enemies from Mega Man 1 and 2. Them things, I'm not sure what they are. The giant things that just sort of jump over you. But the giant enemies kind of, they do a lot of damage output, so you got to be careful with them, and it's normally easier to avoid the big enemies than it is to actually take them down. Now we're going to see why I'm not too keen on the Gemini laser. Look how slow that goes. And I think it actually slows down the game as well in this version, so as well as having a naturally slow weapon, you've also got to deal with game slowdown as well. And you can't actually open the menu while a Gemini laser is going, so if you need to heal or if you need to change your weapon for whatever reason, you can't do that until the thing's either hit the guy or it's gone off screen. And I'm pretty sure you could picture how annoying that can get. Now we've got Needleman's weapon. Needleman's weapon is just a very simple projectile type thing, so it's nothing really to write home about. But we finally got the Rush Jet, and the Rush Jet lets you skip past so many difficult sections. Fucking Magnet Man, how does he work? Magnets, guys. Magnets fix everything. Magnets are miracles. Magnets are great. Magnets attract things. Magnets repel things. I don't know why I'm so fucking enthusiastic about magnets. I fucking love Magnet Man's theme as well. It's just such an upbeat, jolly, joyful sort of tune. And the Mega's take on it is one of them songs that you don't kind of clock onto how dark it actually is until you listen to it a bit closer. Because what they've done is they've made it about Magnet Man having a thing for Roll, who's obviously Mega Man's sister. And so there's this kind of conflict of interest in that, like, the families are obviously have their problems there. With Magnet Man working under Wily and Mega Man obviously working under Light. So it's kind of an interesting little take, and I know it's very easy to write off these shipping kind of things as bad fan fiction, but I kind of like that take on it, really. Anyway, here's more Proto Man jumping around like an idiot that I've been ignoring for the last minute. I don't like these things that have the homing bullets. I got lucky there in that the bullet kind of went off screen, but when they kind of follow you around, they get on your tits quite a bit. I've got the Mega song in my head, I really can't help it. And I guess you know what section's gonna come here. Look, disappearing, reappearing blocks, but it gets more dickish than that. So now we have disappearing, reappearing blocks with magnets over a bottomless pit. Isn't that just a barrel of fun? But yeah, I kind of like the visuals in this stage. The magnets in themselves are pretty attractive. I'm on a roll today, I think. I say I'm on a roll, but I know deep down everyone else is cringing. Now, Magnet Man is weak to the spark shot. I guess, like, electricity, magnets, it all kind of correlate, so it makes sense. But his attacks are homing, which, yeah, they're not that hard to dodge though, because you sort of slide. As long as you don't stand still, they'll give up following you. But they try to aim above you and come down, so just gotta be careful there. But I believe we only actually have one Robot Master left. So we're getting through these fairly fluid pace. But the magnet missile itself, it's a really powerful weapon, but it also drains weapon usage really quickly, like you only get so many uses of it. And it's also a lot better in the NES version than it is here, because for some reason when they're porting it over to the Mega Drive, the magnet missiles that you use, they don't home in properly compared to how they do in Mega Man 3 on the NES. I think that's probably more a glitch than an intentional decision. But these enemies couldn't be any more annoying. I think I made that joke last time too. Hardman stage. I know some people tend to go Hardman first and then follow after Hardman to Topman and go that sort of route. I tend to leave him till last because I prefer just taking him out with the magnets. There's a lot of minor annoyances in this stage, like this guy who you're slightly off with, but you gotta rush coil up and not get hit by his thing in the process, so yeah, timing games are not a strength of mine. Why am I even bothering? I know I'll get hit. Yeah, so now we've got these monkey enemies that jump around and generally really hard to hit. Like, fuck these guys, I hate them. I hate these enemies. And it is very possible for them to hit you while you're trying to jump up the ladder, and you just get in this endless loop of trying to jump up to the ladder, the monkey hitting you, you falling down, rinse repeat, over and over and over. This guy, you got to line yourself up properly so it hits his little toe. Because that particular section I was at, I was high enough on the ladder to hit him, but low enough that I wouldn't get hit. I don't know if this is the intended way to take down the monkeys, but it works. Just got to wait a while for the Gemini laser to finally get itself together. Just slide under here, slide to the right, no sliding to the left, so we can't do the whole cha-cha slide thing, which is a shame. Because I think a Mega Man cha-cha slide would be quite an interesting thing to watch, but I don't have the means right now of things to slide under. But yeah, this game is really generous with E-tanks, and that's probably to kind of make it a little bit more casual friendly, which I approve of, being a filthy casual. It makes the Wily stages a lot easier too. But this particular Proto Man fight is probably the hardest one so far, purely because the floor is uneven, so you can't necessarily slide under him as easily as you could in the other stages. So just take the hits really, that's all I would suggest. He got E-tanks by this point. But yeah, he keeps on using the same strategy, but it's clearly not working. Flame tries it, menus, it's hard. Yeah. I'm not too fond on the menu structure here. I prefer the one that just kind of pops up over the screen on the right, just to up down this. It's less complex, you spend less time faffing around in it, but it's not really a big deal in the grand scheme of things. Now this boss, if you didn't have the weakness, it would be really hard, I'm sure. I guess that joke would work if he was actually challenging. Yeah, so like what I was saying earlier there, that doesn't quite home in on him how it should have done. Because in the NES version that would just completely track him rather than sort of shooting off randomly. Which makes this boss and another boss later on quite a little bit more challenging. Not that he's a huge threat, but you know. That's the final Robot Master down. At least from the Mega Man 3 Robot Masters. If I were to drop a little hint, you know. There'll be more stuff to fight that we haven't seen in Mega Man 1 or 2 explicitly coming up. That'll happen next part. See you then.